Disney friends. I am Sam from Sam's Disney Diary. That is the blue-haired blogger himself, Greg from Fantasyland News. We got a ton of stuff going on today. It is February the 26th, 2025. Thanks for joining us. If you're listening, thanks for listening. Remember, you can find us live every Wednesday night on YouTube, Sam's Disney Diary, or at Fantasyland News on YouTube. Greg, what do we got this week?
Ahoy, hoy, Sam, and everyone. Welcome in, Sam. This week, my friend, just like every week, we got too much to talk about and not enough time. So let's start off with Epcot Flower and Garden. Arts ended, and now we're in Flower and Garden season. We got topiaries, we got gardens, we got the end of Arts, where we got to see Disney on Broadway, the concert series, and we'll talk about Kara Lindsay and Rodney Ingram. And then what else did we do? We got Guardians, came off virtual queue along with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We're going to talk all about that and how people went crazy over it. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith is coming back to theaters in April. Disney Starlight, the new nighttime spectacular webpage, is now live. What else do we have? We got, Sam, we are going to go into bracket madness.
It is Disney madness, baby. Madness. I can't wait to talk about it.
And then, of course, every week we always end it with the Muppet 70th Magnets.
We will be there. All that and more coming up. Stick around, Disney madness. We're going to hit the website. We're going to do some voting. We're going to look at our matchups, but lots of news first. See you in a minute. Banana for Skill. Greg, we are back. I got my bracket in hand, but before we get to that, we have lots of news to cover.
I'm glad somebody printed that off. I got to go off the computer.
I am indeed going to make it available to others to print off. But before we get there, you, my friend, we're in the parks again this week. Lots of things happening. We're no longer in that Festival of the Arts Flowers or whatever we called it last week, because now we are Festival of Arts is over. It's done. And next week, Wednesday, next week, the day that we go live is the first day of Flower and Garden, and lots has happened regarding Flower and Garden.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw during Festival of the you lost me.
There you are. I hit the wrong button and then I couldn't.
That happens. Yeah, I mean, and of course, Epcot, we did get to see the last few shows of Disney on Broadway, so we're going to talk about that. But yeah, Arts, as we know it, is over. Not a lot happening here other than Flower and Garden going on, unless you want to talk about destruction of TriceraTop Spin and all the other stuff. But we'll have video and images tomorrow to talk about next week, because Dinoland USA, I'm wondering what they're going to do with a giant dinosaur over there. I have a bet going on here that thing is going to be coming down in stages.
I'm gonna bet that it just disappears overnight, gone. That's where my head is. It's gone.
I hope
overnight.
runners get to run under it and run Disney event at some point.
Oh yeah, like backstage somewhere. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool. All right, Flower and Garden back. Topiaries popping up all over the place, in some of them in new locations, but right here we're looking at Donald Duck, who appears to be in the same location as last year, right in front of Connections Eatery. With a
I actually think that, that could be exactly where it was last year. Like that and Huey, Dewey, and Louie kind of swapped places, or they moved Huey, Dewey, and Louie to the left side of Donald Duck. But yeah, Donald looks great. I got to tell you, in just 1 week, Sam, from the time we saw this last Wednesday, Thursday, the whole park looks like it's in bloom. Like these flowers have grown so much in 1 week. And
well, this is Donald's vegetable garden that he's in, right?
Yes.
So not as flowerful, but there are some. But yeah, you got to keep that in mind, right?
Now I need to see him on Living with the Land. Like they should tie in, if they're going to have a garden like that, it should be like Living with the Land with Donald.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, thank you for bringing the video back there, Greg. That's what we're watching for those of you listening. But Huey, Dewey, and Louie,
you need video.
That looks like a different spot for Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
It is. It's they're right next to each other. It's across from.
Are they picking what Donald just planted, or are they helping him plant?
It is Huey and Dewey and Louie. They could be just ripping up. I don't know. Maybe they're picking flowers for Aunt Daisy.
I was picking the flowers that Donald just planted is what I'm thinking they're doing, but that could just be me. I'm not sure.
Lily, welcome in. Meredith, welcome in. Holly, welcome
Groot.
in.
You got some Groot mixed into this video. Very good.
Yeah. I was going to do the whole I am Groot article again, where I just do 700 words that are all I am and Groot.
Do you put more letters in the Groot or?
Yeah. Sometimes Groot's angry, so it's Groot.
Right. Well,
I am Groot.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, this tape hopefully will be playing on Wednesday of next week because
the plug is there. It looks like it is. We're going to talk about another one in a second that I see is going to be plugged in also. So, The Lion King is back. Now, here's my question. After seeing Mufasa, right?
Okay.
Are we looking at Mufasa and Nala and baby Simba with Rafiki? Or are we looking at Mufasa and Simba and his what's her name? Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't see the movie, but I'm gonna say we're looking at the inspiration from the animated classic.
Yeah, probably right. I don't know. It could go either way with how those movies are.
It could, and we see Goofy is back along with a monorail. Good timing by the cameraman here, and it looks like Goofy is spreading the weeds through the garden again.
He is blowing the dandelion wishes all over the place, and again, you could see how grown that has become over the course of a week. There is way more of those dandelions out there. There's way more of those wishes, and it looks fantastic.
It absolutely does. The Flower and Garden is the time. You know what else I noticed about this, Greg? There's no construction walls in anything you're showing us right here. I love that.
Yeah, well, if you turn around, there's some. I'm not even kidding. Right there, if you were to turn around,
but I could tell this. That there's still some Festival of Arts rainbows in the background.
Yep, that was the last day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. You're right. See, I knew somebody would correct me. Hey, look, there's Bambi and
Mayor,
Thumper and the other one.
Kira, is that how you say that?
Yeah, Kira.
Very good. There is Bambi, Flower, and Thumper. Of course, they are back around Canada. Now, I can remember, Greg, when it used to be the Butterfly House with Bambi, and Bambi was inside of the Butterfly House. They haven't done that for a long time.
Yes, and that Butterfly House is almost done being constructed and looks fantastic. There is butterfly topiaries out in front of it that they just replaced today. Did not get a chance to see it today, but I mean, look, these look fantastic. Great Britain. So Bambi is in Canada area, and then in Great Britain you have, of course, Peter Pan and Hook fighting each other. Yeah, and then TikTok is, of course, the Croc is next. The
Croc is right across. They don't have the picture of the Croc, but Lily, you are. If this is your second festival, Flower Garden, I have to ask what your favorite festival is. This is my favorite, and I've said it before. It's because I get to get out of the cold in the north and go down and see all these flowers. But you know what? Today, Greg, it was in the 50s and rainy, so I almost felt like spring back up here. The snow's gone.
I don't
After a
even
nice
want to tell you
rainfall
how
at 50
perfect it
degrees,
was down here
snow's gone.
today. It was.
Yeah,
it
we don't
was,
have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Also in the United
yeah.
Kingdom, of course, Pooh Bear and friends.
Yeah, Pooh is back and all his friends. And this is another one of those topiaries where you just watch throughout the festival time because they grow so nicely together. So seeing the carrots that are empty right now, they will be in full bloom by the time the festival's going.
And those, of course, are rabbits, carrots, and of course, Pooh Bear.
Yeah. Arts. Yeah.
Gotta love that. Oh, this was a video. All right. Thank you, Greg, for bringing a video.
You never know when a video is just going to pop up nowadays.
I love that. I'll hit mute and we'll watch it. We're looking at Pooh Bear in front of the, I forget what that store is called.
The Royal Crest, is that part of the Royal Crest?
Yes, I think that it is. It's the hidden Mickey in the sign that everybody knows about.
Then, so we have Rabbit, and then we get to the other side, and there is my favorite character of all time, Tigger.
Tigger's got some, you know what? The pink really pops on his nose and in his ears. It's the same Piglet pink.
Yep. And then Piglet and Eeyore. Oh, bother.
Eeyore has some of the pink under his ears, which I think look very good.
And then just the original topiary design. Look, if it's Dumbo, you can call it Dumbo or Jumbo or just an elephant on parade.
I'm just going to call it a topiary elephant.
Yeah.
Classic look from Disneyland before these things got really, really intricate. And we're expecting some explanation or placards around these when the festival starts.
Absolutely. And they sat around, the original ones were around It's a Small World, and you can still see most of them by It's a Small World. Tinkerbell and her fairy garden.
Lights behind the fairy garden. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So that's all twinkling up, and then you can see the houses that are all around.
Yeah, Tinkerbell and the fairy houses. This is the Flower Garden Festival.
Vlad, welcome in tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. Yeah, there you go. And then it kind of ends on, hey, I think Mickey and Minnie live there in a very small roller skate.
It looks that way.
Yeah. Ever so small of a roller skate.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, hey, it's a fairy garden. Might as well have Mickey and Minnie.
Sure. All right. Speaking of fairies, sometimes there are some janitors that walk around with some brushes or wands. And
speaking of fairies, there is some guys walking around doing some magic for us.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about janitors with magic paintbrush.
You sure you don't want to start this one over? Because I can let it go. I'll let it go.
Let it go. We got honest coming up.
So this is like normally you see this every day at Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
You see the janitor, custodial staff. They know how to, if you ever see a white shirted cast member in white pants and white shirt, that's the custodial staff. And if you ever see one that's carrying around a broom that has a rubber band around the bristles, that man is going to be painting with water, doing some art around the park. So you just follow him. And he did 4 or 5 characters in front of the Germany pavilion. And, Sam, like, I notice it. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And I'm taking pictures. And then you do get like tourists who don't know to look down, who are just like baby strollers right over the top of it.
Yeah. We're looking at Goofy and Donald and Pluto, and they look fabulous.
Yep. There was Mickey and Minnie. It was great. I love that. I love the staff over there. Those cast members are so great.
They all are. Speaking of letting it go, here is Elsa. We talked about her last week with the
brand new cape.
The cape on that she had not had previously. I'm waiting to see how that blooms.
It's beautiful.
It looks it. It does.
Yeah. And then, of course, our Norway gnome.
Our Norwegian gnome. Is that what we're going to call him? The Norwegian gnome.
Sure. What's his name? Cinderclaws? No. Who's the
not the Barn Santa.
Barn Santa. Maybe he's friends with Barn Santa.
Barn Santa. We did decide that this was the Barn Santa in the springtime. He just becomes petrified and he hangs out and lets things grow on him.
I'm good with that, man.
I'm sorry?
I'm good with that.
Let's go back to the American Gardens Theater, because you were there for maybe the last performance or one of the last performances of Disney on Broadway. You brought back some amazing pictures, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about Disney on Broadway and how that is going.
So we got to see Kara Lindsay and Rodney Ingram. He is from Tarzan. I think she did Tarzan too, but her big role was in Disney's Newsies on Broadway.
Okay.
She also was in a few other shows for Disney. He played Aladdin in Disney on Broadway, Aladdin. So you had two phenomenal voices that night. They opened up with Trash in the Camp, which got stuck in all of our heads for the rest of the day. So we were walking out of Epcot at 8 p.m. just doing Trash in the Camp. Great show, great voices. She is spectacular. She was really good. And then, like, they surprised us. Disney's Hercules is not here in New York. It premiered in New York one day. It played at a small little playhouse off Broadway. And then they redid the musical and then opened up in Germany, where it got fabulous reviews. They rewrote part of it, is now going over to the West End in England, in London. It's going to play for a few months in London, and then hopefully it's going to make its way over to Broadway in America. And I tell you what, if there's a show I'm looking for, it's Hercules. I was like, oh, wow.
Am I right in remembering that this actually started on one of the Disney cruise ships as the musical, and then it was adapted to a bigger production?
No, but it is coming to a Disney.
Okay, then there's a smaller version coming to one of the newer Disney cruise ships.
Correct.
That's what I meant to say, Greg.
Yep. And then, of course, she got surprised the other day. There was a big for her birthday, 3 days before we went there. There was a big Newsies the cast members reunion, and surprised her by jumping out of the audience singing Newsies songs and blew the roof off that place.
That's kind of cool. I had no idea.
And Rory is a big Newsies on Broadway fan. Holly loves Newsies. So that's the night we chose to go. We waited this whole time just to go to this night, and we had a blast.
Love it. There's nothing wrong with Disney on Broadway.
We showed up maybe 45 minutes to an hour before the show. We had great seats. We weren't packed in. The place did fill up, but it was beautiful.
I stood in a line back to Germany to get into Disney on Broadway, but I was in no problem. I was seated. There wasn't crowded, but it was a little intimidating to see a queue that goes all the way to Germany, but it was okay. We made it.
Yeah, made it in, and it was great. Had a great time. Again, Disney on Broadway. So it was nice having the museum here for the 30th anniversary over at Communicore Hall. Great job. That probably was one of the best things about Festival of the Arts this year, and continuing the tradition. Like, I hope they come back with it again every single year, just a little different.
I don't have a problem with that. I think that they've set the bar extremely high, and I'm looking forward to see what happens for the Flower and Garden Festival inside of Communicore Hall, where we will be getting a bee's eye view of the development of topiaries, whatever that means, Greg.
Whatever that means, we will find out next Wednesday, my friend, at 8 a.m.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We'll know next Wednesday. All right. So you also, this is you leaving that evening. Wonderful monorail with the green lights underneath it. Is that monorail green?
Sometimes you just pull out a camera and take a picture and you're like,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Is that monorail green?
Yes.
With the green light under it?
So here's the best part about this, Sam. As we were walking under Spaceship Earth, we get past the fountain, and immediately Rainbow Connection starts.
Oh, love it.
And I was like, this was absolutely the perfect way to end the Festival of the Arts, and especially for our coverage and my coverage specifically. I was just like, you know what a successful Festival of the Arts
that's awesome
we have had. And you and I have talked a lot about Festival of the Arts. We've gone over every little detail. It was the cap on a beautiful week.
Festival of Arts may be my second favorite festival. Lily, I'm sure we're still waiting to see what your favorite festival is. All right, Greg, you, after this evening, went back to Epcot the next day because the big news was day one for the elimination of virtual queues. No more virtual queue for Tiana. No more virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. You were there day one. there was, let's be honest, a lot of clickbait about lines that were 2 hours long or longer. Tell me what was really going on at.
So we walked in the park at 8:40 a.m. and
okay. So let's
we know this
park opens
perfectly.
at 9, right?
What?
Park opens at 9.
Park opens at 9 a.m.
And resort guests could get in at 8:30.
8:30.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Okay.
So we know Guardians was open for early access or for early entry. So we get into this line at 8:40 a.m. The new line goes all the way up to basically the doors of connections. This is 8:55, and you can see the line is now backed up all the way into the front section of the park, and it is kind of packed in there.
It is packed in there. So I noticed here, this is one of your images, and I'll let you explain the timing on it in a second.
9 a.m., they do rope drop. Yes. Exactly at 9. There was cast members saying, listen, we are going to walk you to Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to walk you to where you can split off and go where you want to go. Please follow us. Please do not run. Please do not go crazy.
So my first question for you there, I assume that they walked you around and down the hallway past Club Cool and then to Guardians versus going through.
You would think it'd be that easy and simple, Sam.
They
walked us down down the side of Connections Eatery and Cafe, all the way to the corridor for Club Cool and Creation Shop.
Right.
Then they walked us all the way to Mission Space and the Play Pavilion and hung a left there.
So they were making sure that all of the queue that had accumulated in the front of Epcot, they could absorb into a much bigger space.
Yes. And then you then made the left to Guardians of the Galaxy. And then that's where it split up. Lightning Lane to the right, regular guests to the left.
Got it.
Everybody went to the left. And as you walked up to where the queue is set up for Guardians Outdoors, Peter Quill, Star-Lord, is out there dancing for people.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
It just added to the event. It felt important. It felt fun.
So switchbacks outside, I'm going to assume, before you go into the queue.
Correct. And there's, Sam, you know that wall that is back there? For next week, there is a switchback in that back area also that they can open up for it when it gets crowded.
Got it. And that could be if it gets crowded later in the day and they need more rooms, they can switch people there.
At
they're not going to
9 a.m.,
9
a.m., the ride's time said 35 minutes.
At 9 a.m., it said 35 minutes. Okay.
We got to the front of the attraction at 9:02. It said 45 minutes.
Okay.
We went into our Lightning Lane entrance, and there was not a soul in that line.
I don't know that, Greg. Are there Lightning Lanes available before 9:30 a.m.? I don't.
9 a.m. Yes, at 9 a.m.
I thought it was 9:30, but all right, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Look, if you're in a Lightning Lane for 9 a.m., get in that standby queue and use that Lightning Lane later.
Or I could use it at 9 a.m. and follow the crowd in there and get the shots that I wanted.
Well, no, I understand. I'm just saying if I am purchasing a Lightning Lane, I'm not going to get 9 a.m. because if I'm there, then I'm going to go in the standby queue because I can now. There's no virtual queue. It's standby.
Right. You get into the standby queue at 9 a.m. You are going to be on and off in 35 to 40 minutes tops.
Okay.
Now, at 9:15, it went up to, and here's where the clickbait happened, 165 minutes.
Were you there when that happened?
Yes.
Where would you estimate that line was at that point?
I was inside.
You were inside. Okay. Because I am asking because that's classic Disney. We don't want you to get in line right now.
Right.
And do you think that's what happened?
So by the time we got off at 9:30, it had dropped to 140 minutes.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We did not see a massive line outdoors. In fact, it had only gone through one switchback outside, and people were pretty much going right inside the building. Staying 140 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Which is okay.
Right?
Okay.
So at 9:15, 165. At 9:30, 140. At 9:45, it had dropped down to 85 minutes. By 10 a.m., it was at 70 minutes.
70.
Yes. So Was that 165 correct? No. And that's where all the clickbait came from, because it did not stay at 165. It held it for less than 15 minutes. It leveled off, Sam, at 60 minutes tops for the rest of the day. Today, my friend, it topped off at 45 minutes and stayed that way all day.
Now, I am surprised, and I'll give you a couple of reasons. And we didn't talk about this yet, but can you give me some idea of what Tiana's was like? By you?
Yes, it did not open in the morning because it broke down. And then when it came back up, it was at 20 minutes.
Okay, so we expected that Tiana would not be
let me caveat that, because it was 50 degrees out and freezing cold.
And that's fine. And I don't expect Tiana to be any more or less popular than Splash Mountain used to be.
Correct. By the way, congratulations, Mr. Fulton Mraz.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thanks for letting us know about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 30 jump shots. Nice, man. Yeah. Congratulations. Greg, Tiana's, we expected that to be. I thought because of the lack of other attractions at Epcot that this may be longer, but it appears to be falling into the same area as Tron and Space Mountain.
Right. So what's the difference between Soarin', Frozen, Remy, and Guardians? The difference is...
I know what the difference is.
Is the queue.
Okay.
And the amount of people they can get on and off and push through each different area of that attraction. You pre-show 1, pre-show 2, down the line, onto the ride itself. Everything is so well spaced out that you can get 2,200 or more people through that in 1 hour.
Okay. I'll give you one other difference between all those attractions you just talked about.
Right.
Guardians has a lightning lane single rider where you can buy your way on to Guardians. The others are all part of multi-pass.
Right.
That's another difference. So let's talk about that moving inside, because I believe it debuted the exact same day as the virtual queue going away. They made some changes inside the attraction queue, right?
Yeah, they did some great changes. So after what is it, the Eternal Room? What do you call that?
After the second pre-show room, when you're going around the corner to go down the hallway to
Holly will hopefully pop on and be like, it's this. The core, the Nova Core.
The Nova Core room. Yeah. After you get transported up to the Nova Core ship. That's right.
Right. They added stanchions to keep everybody bottleneck everybody to go down that hallway. So you used to be able to just, all 3 sets of doors would open and you would just all push out and try and get back into some semblance of a line, where you normally got a little bit of pushing and shoving and people got a little heated. And now there's stanchions and cast members stopping you from doing that.
Are they only opening 1 set of the doors then?
2 sets.
2 sets
of 3.
2 of the 3.
Yes.
Okay. So they're eliminating that. And this was what always got me.
Cosmic generator room.
Thank you. When you go into that cosmic generator room and all of the activities on your left, that's where the Guardians come up, and that really big guy outside the window might have done something with it. Everybody pushes to the right-hand side that's been there, and they try to get back past as many people as they can. When the doors open, it's a free-for-all. If this stops that, that's good.
So, again, when we got there, you were able to get into that line in the next room that goes down to the actual coaster, and there was no line. So all you had to do was walk, and you made it.
You were there early.
You stopped. You made it all the way to the actual queue of the ride before you had to stop. So there was no stopping there. They had it running so smooth.
That's good. That's good. Let's hope that keeps going. So it's not as bad as
look. They've had 2 years to test this. They've also taken it off of virtual queue during after hours and during special events. They know what they're doing.
I completely agree with that.
So all the clickbait was just for clickbait, and I hope people realize
they got the picture of the 160
Do not be discouraged by seeing these lines. It moved a whole lot faster than anybody expected.
45 minutes is less than Pandora on a good day.
45 was less than Soarin', Frozen, Remy, and I believe the Seas for a little bit today.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
That is crazy. Absolutely. All right, let's move on in your walk through Epcot because Test Track has a little more activity.
Test Track, they actually are pulling down, so that front new signage area is actually uncovered, and we should start seeing the new signage going up any day now because that whole new ceiling is all built and is done construction. They're just kind of finishing off some extra parts to it. It looks great over there. Look, we're getting closer and closer to that. It's March, almost March 1st, and it's opening summer. So
yeah, it's getting, we don't know what's going on inside. We haven't seen.
I wish we could see inside. I want a tour from inside. Disney, if you're listening, I want a tour.
You want to see inside. That's exactly right. Exactly right. You also got some images, and I love these because this is the Camp Get Out and Play Playground presented by Off.
Yeah.
And I love the images of the play area that's part of the Flower Garden Festival that is not opened yet, but I love these types of areas that Disney's creating to let kids get a little steam off in Epcot. That's really what.
And I tell you what, like the color schemes they're using this year, that orange and off orange with the impatience and the flowers behind it looks great. And they were just finishing up putting all the new touches for this garden. Now that's normally like the Wall-E playground or the Tiana playground or whatever that is. But yeah, it kind of gets spiffed up and cleaned up this time of year, and it comes Camp Get Out and Play.
Yeah, which is awesome. And then I think that the playground remains open through the summer. They may take some of the theming away, and it'll get a new theme come food night.
I think this is the only time of year it actually closes is when they're doing this. And then, of course, this is the other playground. They are going to have that new playground that is themed after the Yacht and Beach Club.
The Yacht and Beach. Oh boy, why am I blanking on it? It is I'm blanking on it. What's their swimming pool?
Play Along
Bay, yes, versus Storm Along Bay. Play Along. That's exactly right. Also at Epcot, Greg, the Festival of the Arts is over, but that doesn't mean that the popcorn buckets are sold out.
Breakfast sandwich, $7.25.
I see that. Yeah,
I'm in.
I see the Figment popcorn bucket.
You know what you're having for breakfast? You're having that Figment cake.
I am, but that's sold out apparently.
Yeah, the good one too.
the Figment bucket.
You can get Figment popcorn bucket. Obviously, again, like they did a few years ago, they made a plethora of them.
They did.
And they are available now at all popcorn stands in the front.
Still has the popcorn in it. Do you think that's the same popcorn that's been in there since the festival? I'm sure
100% it is. Absolutely. They don't change that out.
I don't feel bad that I haven't eaten mine yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm still in there too.
You spotted Asha and the Wishing Star in their new location this year. Of course, this was the centerpiece last year, right when you walked in. We expect that will be Moana this year, correct?
The centerpiece is Moana. It'll be Moana, Maui, Hey Hey, and Pua. We know this.
Okay, good. And they're not there yet, I'm assuming.
They're not. No, they'll be the opening day. We'll see that first.
Yeah, that's what I kind of...
So Asha is moved over here. This is where, and this is what I'm wondering is, this is where Timon and Pumbaa have lived for years.
Yes.
So no more Timon and Pumbaa there yet. We don't know what's going to happen with them. But again, Sam, we were blown away by how this topiary worked and looked, especially at nighttime.
Yes.
If you look, that red goes all the way and goes back up into the trees.
I see it now going back up into the tree.
So check that out at nighttime. It's beautiful. Look, is the movie good? I wish it was.
Is fine. We'll leave it at that.
Hey,
what's going on in Canada, Greg?
Oh, Canada. Yeah.
See what you did there.
Thank you. These are the jokes, kids. Follow along. I'm a dad joke guy. So Canada, they are look, it's a mystery. That's what's going on.
We still don't know what's happening in Canada.
Right. So this is the back entrance to whatever they're putting in there. They're putting in new signs, and the signs should be installed any day now because those signs, the permits are only for 60 days, and we're already like 30 days in.
Okay. Something is happening in the Canada Pavilion.
Once we know, we will let you know immediately.
That's right. All right. You scoped a couple of other interesting news items that we wanted to talk about, and one of them is Star Wars related. So let's talk about the 20th anniversary of Episode 3.
Yeah, man. Let's talk Anakin turning into Darth Vader. Sorry, spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
If I had to say spoilers in front of that, you shouldn't be watching.
20 years, dude. We're good.
Yeah, look, it's Revenge of the Sith. It's one of the greatest Star Wars movies ever. It's the backstory for everything. Everything comes to a head from episodes 1 and 2. I love this storyline. The only thing it's missing is more Jar Jar Binks. It just does not have enough Jar. You give more. I want the recut with just Jar Jar Binks, where he takes over Naboo. He leads the Nabooians.
No, I'm good with this. No, it's coming back to theaters in April. Now, the first thing I wanted to know, Greg, is there a popcorn bucket that I can get at some theater? Because I happen to know somebody who's just on top of all the popcorn buckets everywhere. I got a
popcorn bucket guy. You don't have a popcorn bucket? Oh, I am your popcorn
I do. Yes, guy. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah. We don't know yet. Could there be? Yes. It's only going to be in theaters for a week, so it would be a very limited edition special run.
I'm okay with that.
Again, I think you said earlier you would go immediately if there's a Darth Vader popcorn helmet.
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah.
Just imagine his head pops off and you're just eating his brains out of the top of his head.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too. So yeah, this Star Wars. I mean, look, we're huge Star Wars fans. It's also coming to 4DX, so they are they've adapted it for 4DX theaters. So if you have a 4DX,
is interesting. I don't know if there's any near me, but that is very interesting. We got more Star Wars news coming up in a minute. But before that, we got some things on the new nighttime parade that's coming to Walt Disney World, because it's been added to the WaltDisneyWorld.com website, right?
Yeah, Disney Starlight is coming this summer of 2025, the new nighttime parade. We do know four of the floats. We know Moana, we know Encanto, we know the Princess one, and then the Pinocchio Blue Fairy one. Yes. This is going to take over. This is going to be, I feel, the biggest Instagram moment of the year is the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom.
I agree. So it's getting closer. It's on their website. No details yet, but that's where to look for things, right? That's if it's on their website, it's in their systems.
Right. It's there. You can go on your phone right now. You can check on your mobile phone. You can check on your desktop, but it's there. Just look up Disney Starlight.
Remember, there used to be a lot of nighttime parade dining packages and lightning lane options, and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm there. I am
Did we
there.
Talk about popcorn buckets a second ago, because I did see some scoop on a new popcorn bucket. Tell me what's going on at Disneyland.
Yeah, man. Like, what's up, Disneyland? Why? Sam? Okay. Look, I'm happy. We got the Regal Carousel one. That's cool. But we don't get half the popcorn buckets that Disneyland gets. And they are doing Disneyland 90s night special ticketed after hours event. Right. And it is all about 90s and Disney. So, of course, the worst character of all time, the worst son of all time, this child does not deserve its own popcorn bucket in any way, shape, or form. No one really in their right mind likes this guy. God, I hate Max Goof.
Max Goof Powerline has gotten himself a popcorn bucket.
But hey, I mean, look, Disney World, we're used to getting Powerline Max. Every Mickey's Not So Scary once in a while. Hollywood Studios. Disneyland only had it during the Run Disney event a few weeks ago. So he does not appear there. So he's going to appear during their 90s night, and they get the popcorn bucket of him. That's so cool. Good for them. And I know people either love a Goofy movie or hate a Goofy movie. I'm just not a Goofy movie fan. Love Goof, hate Max.
It's fine. I got no problem with that. Look, by the way, Mayor, we all miss Spectro. Absolutely agree with you. I only hope that whatever music we get for this new nighttime parade holds a candle to Spectro Magic.
Their nighttime after hours events are crazy. We need them here at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I've never been to one. I would love to get to one at some point.
Yeah, I want to go to the Star Wars one.
Me
I'd
too.
go to
Speaking of
90s night.
Star
I'd
Wars,
go to 80s night. Look, I would go to 90s night and dance with the gummy bears. You want a good character? Give me Zummy Gummy.
there you go. All right, back to Disney news. Andor season 2.
Zummy Gummy.
Nice. We got a trailer for Andor season 2. I don't have its premiere date in front of me, Greg, but if I remember right, it is in March.
March.
It's not that far off. Andor season 2. And interesting, we talked about this before, that Disney had some audience drop off with Skeleton Crew from the first episode as it went on, one episode at a time.
Yeah.
They're doing things a little different with Andor season 2. They're going to drop not all of the episodes at once, but a storyline at once. So maybe 3 or 4 episodes will drop at once, and then the next week you'll get 3 or 4 more, and then get.
That's
3 or 4
interesting.
more.
I wish we knew more about the storylines themselves to know.
I
where
don't
this
know
was
that,
going.
but
Right.
I'm good with, because look, one of the things Skeleton Crew, I'd get through it, I'd get into it. You're about 40 minutes in, and boom, see you next week. It's like, oh, at least now we can keep doing.
I agree, Meredith. Yeah, you get through. So you're going to drop 4 episodes for 4 weeks in a row, or 3 episodes for however long, or 5 weeks, and then you do a conclusion. It's interesting, and I can't wait for this concept to see how Disney does this. Look, Skeleton Crew, the problem was like people wanted to know the conclusion. So that drop off until you get to the penultimate episode, and then you get the finale, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm satisfied.
And I even considered it in watching it. I'd considered, I'm like, why am I watching this every week? Yeah. I would rather sit here and watch 3 or 4 at a time. And I'd watch it, and then I'd be like, man, and then the next week.
So Sam, I'm the exact opposite. I like the classic TV of 1 episode every week. You have to stick with it. But of course, that's why I stopped watching TV like that, because a show would get canceled and I'd never get a conclusion.
Oh, yes, I understand.
But I love having a weekly drop. Holly, on the other hand, would kill somebody to get all the episodes at once of every show all the time.
Yeah, I get it. All right, moving on. We got just a little bit of time left, but Craig, it's my big moment. This is what I've been waiting for. I'm going to give you the ability to record a preview here, but let me do this, and I'll be right back. This is, are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Because it is time. It is time for Disney Madness 2025 Attraction Madness. Head to DisneyMadness.com. Greg and I have been working with our friends to get some brackets set up, developed. Your ability to vote on these things online. It is Disney Madness 2025 Attraction Madness. We're there. What did you just do in the background?
I was trying to get my clapping sound.
You got a soundboard.
You hyped it all up, and I was just like,
very well.
I have brackets that you can print out. You can vote at. In fact, let's take a look at a bracket. This is a traditional 64 team bracket. We've done it just like the NCAA tournament. BracketMadness.com, or if you go to FantasylandNews.com, you will find the bracket there. It's the same. Click vote. We're going to walk through some of these matchups here today. But this is going to be cool.
Let's make sure everybody knows where to find this. You can go to samsdisneydiary.com, and on the homepage, it is, you scroll down, it's there. There's also a special page in the top bar.
DisneyMadness.com will get you
there. You go. You can also go to Fantasyland News. It's on every article, and on the homepage, it's right down. You just scroll down a little. It is also on its own page. Look at the top bar, Disney Bracket Madness Challenge of Doom. It's all there. Go to both these. Put your votes in. You can vote how many times, Sam? 5 times a day.
5 times per browser. That's what it'll let you do. That's for now. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk through this for a second. But DisneyMadness.com is the easiest way to get there. It will redirect you, or any of Greg's articles down on the bottom. We did is we worked with touringplans.com to get a list of the top Disney World attractions from the last 2 years as rated by their users. That's a lot of data. I thank them for letting us use it. We rank them 1 through 64, so that number 1 goes up against number 64 and so on. We'll talk about those matchups in a minute. When we look at that first matchup, the number 1 bracket versus the number 64. Surprise, surprise, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is the number 1 seed in our tournament, going up against the Tomorrowland Speedway. Now, in that context, I do want to add that there are more than 64 attractions at Walt Disney World. So we could have had the Tomorrowland Speedway against Guardians of the Galaxy, but Greg, I'm going to give you some of the other attractions that did not make the cut. And I want you to tell me if any of them would fare better than the Tomorrowland Speedway.
Can I do my let's get ready to rumble?
Do it. Do it.
Let's get ready to rumble.
And in the first match, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind versus Tomorrowland Speedway. Officially, this could also be the Liberty Square Riverboat, Tom Sawyer's Island, better get on those soon, Conservation Station, Awesome Planet, Disney Junior Dance Party, the Astro Orbiter, TriceraTop Spin, see you next time, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. Those are the attractions that did not make the cut.
We should have had Astro Orbiter in there just because it's closed for now.
We could have. Well, it didn't make the cut. It wasn't in the top 20, in the top 64 popular attractions.
They were so wrong. It's in the top.
It not based on the voting that had been done.
All
right. Along those lines.
All right, we got to go by the votes because we're doing this official.
We're doing this official. We absolutely are. Let me share my screen because we are going to go in and do some voting here.
Y'all got to let me know where Astro Orbiter sits. Is it like a below 64 ride or is it above a 64 ride?
Well, let's go through the others here because there's a lot of things.
Yeah. First, and remember, you can go back for the next few days, for the next week, and vote on all of these however you would like, and have your friends do it, have your family. Sam and I will both be shouting it out across the airwaves tomorrow.
There'll be
articles about it. They'll be on Instagram. Please join us and let people know that this is going on.
So once you get there, this is DisneyMadness.com. It is going to put you right on here. And in all of them, it's going to be the same Vote Now button. And when you click that button, you're going to get the first attraction to vote for. Now, remember, this is the round of 64. So there are 32 different things to vote on here. As you go through them, we're going to say here, Greg, that this is the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind versus Tomorrowland Speedway. Sorry, but I got to vote for Guardians. And by the way, this is what I want you to think when you're voting. If there were no queue whatsoever and you're standing in front of the attraction and all you have to do is step on, what are you going to ride? That's how to vote this. And if there were no line and I was ready to step on, I'm going to go for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
All right. All
right. So let's go to the second matchup here because these are going to get interesting, Greg. You and I will talk through these. And by the way, I may not be submitting my vote because I think I voted too many times already. The second in our lineup, these get interesting because now this pits a number 8 versus a number 9. Those are the close matchups, right?
Yeah.
The Jungle Cruise versus the Carousel of Progress. What are you thinking, Greg?
I'm going Carousel of Progress all day.
Carousel of Progress.
John and his wife and his kids, man, they deserve to move on. That is a classic. Look, Jungle Cruise at Disney World, that's classic-ish. Carousel of Progress is the Carousel of Progress from the 64 World's Fair.
And by the way, these votes are all your votes. Whatever you come up with, that's who's going to move on to the next. I will vote Carousel of Progress. If you don't agree, go out there and vote.
Sam and I are not going to see eye to eye on some of these.
No, not at all. If we did, that wouldn't be fun.
See, Holly's
like
with
this next one here. Living with the Land versus the Hall of Presidents. This happens to be a number 5 seed, Living with the Land, versus a 12 seed at the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah. I'm a Living with the Land guy, Sam. How are you voting on this?
I like Living with the Land too.
Yeah.
I like that in this case. Although I do want to point one thing out that I thought was interesting. When we look at the top seeds, right? So the top 4 end up being the number 1 seed in each of the brackets.
Yeah.
4 attractions, none of them in the top seeds are at the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
The top 4 are Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Star Wars Rise of Resistance, Avatar Flight of Passage, and Expedition Everest.
I think they're all wrong. I think you have 2 of them are right. I think they're missing some.
Now, if you keep going down the top 10,
everybody went
1,
high
2,
speed.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next 7 until you get to Soarin' are all at Magic Kingdom. But we'll just.
I agree with Holly. There it is, right there. I call shenanigans.
Keep going and see what happens. I love shenanigans. We'll vote that one out.
Okay.
Mickey's Fillmore Magic or Enchanted Tales with Belle. Look, these are physically right near each other. You could potentially be standing in the middle. And which way are you going to go?
Yeah. Where are you going, Sam? I know where I'm going.
I'm going Fillmore Magic. What are you doing?
Fillmore Magic. I love Belle.
Okay.
See, now we have a fight here in my household over this already. There is
over this
fight.
next one, over what we talked about, or this next one? Because look,
this
on
one.
the website, you're going to be able to print these out and go through and come up with your winner.
Yeah.
Up next, we have a number 6 versus a number 11 seed. The number 6 seeded Walt Disney World Railroad versus the number 11 Grand Fiesta Tour. And I'm saying those because if you're listening to us, it's going to be a little bit hard to follow along. Go watch the video, download your bracket, and see what you got. Greg, are you going Walt Disney World Railroad or Grand Fiesta Tour? I picked the last one first. You picked this one.
I mean, nostalgia, and for my daughter, I would have to go one way. And did you lose it?
I think I might have lost my votes. No, there it is. It's
there it is. Okay. My daughter wants me to go Grand Fiesta Tour with 3 cabs, but it's me voting, so Walt Disney Railroad should go to the finals.
I am also with you on the Walt Disney World Railway.
Yeah.
I will say 100 times, Disneyland existed because of Walt's love of trains. There's a circle around it. It's his train set. He does it differently all the time. So yes, I'm with you. Next up,
I kind of agree with you on that, Meredith, but that thing isn't up. So
no, I agree. The comment is that the Disneyland Railroad is better than the Walt Disney World. Look, we got to stick with Walt Disney World attractions. If we went the other way, in fact, I will challenge everyone. Is there an attraction at Walt Disney World that is better than its Disneyland counterpart? I can't find one.
Yes.
Assuming the attractions in both places.
Yes.
Which one?
Pirates.
Is better in Walt Disney World?
Yes.
I disagree.
Now that all of our animatronics are working, the Disney World one is better.
I disagree, and we are way off the top.
Carousel. Carousel is better.
We have the number 3 Seven Dwarfs Mine Train versus the number 14.
Yeah, just go with Seven Dwarfs. I mean, Impressions to France. It should say Beauty and the Beast sing along.
Yeah, we're good with that. This is an interesting matchup here. This is Moana's Journey of Water versus the Enchanted Tiki Room, which is a number 7 versus a 10.
Yeah, come on. It's Tiki Room all day.
Sure is. I agree. And this happens to be a number 2 seed, Pirates of the Caribbean, versus the 15 seed Barnstormer.
Dude, have you not ridden Barnstormer recently?
I have not ridden Barnstormer recently.
It's Sam, on so many levels. I can only say so many great things about how this ride hurts you, physically impales you. I can't feel my knees for a week afterwards.
The vote is for Pirates of the Caribbean. We are moving on. And by the way, that wraps up the first bracket. We're calling these Walt Disney World Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. In the second group, the number 1 seeded Avatar Flight of Passage goes up against the Swiss Family Treehouse. I'm just going to go vote for Flight of Passage. And by the way, Flight of Passage is not.
By the way, the real answer is Swiss Family Treehouse.
I'm voting Avatar Flight of Passage because I do not want to walk up and down steps.
But the real answer is Swiss Family Treehouse.
That's why we all get our individual.
Do you not know how much walking up you have to do on the queue to Flight of Passage? You have to go up.
That is true.
Flights.
That is true. That is true. Ali has a neither in the comments. I'm not sure what that's for. Mayor's voting Avatar. I completely agree. And by the way, go and do your own voting. Up next is Under the Sea, the Little Mermaid, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. This is an 8 versus a 9, the closest of the matchups.
Yeah.
What are you thinking here?
Under the Sea all day.
I am too, because Smuggler's Run.
Falcon, if you don't ride it with 4 other of your family or 5 others of your family,
I'm with you.
Not good.
I hope that the new mission changes my vote right there, but I also agree with you.
Yeah. Keep forgetting we got new missions coming.
Yes, that might change the mind. Maybe.
Right.
Up next, Tower of Terror versus Tough to Be a Bug. This is
the only ride I don't do.
So Tough to Be a Bug is your vote.
Yeah. But you can go with Twilight Tower Terror. You know what? Vote Tower, because you know what? Everybody else wants Tower. My daughter wants Tower. She can go vote for herself.
This one's kind of easy. This is a 4 versus a 13. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway versus the American Adventure. I'm going Mickey and Minnie. Not sure where you're going. Who's pulling shenanigans?
Nostalgia wants me to go American Adventure, but I love Mickey and Minnie's. Let's just go Mickey and Minnie's. Let's see what other people are voting while we do this. So we got to give it a second for them to come through and say what their thoughts are.
Yes. So talk about an incredible matchup, Greg. This is
not incredible. We know who's winning this.
But I love the backstory here because you have the Rock and Roller Coaster, which came in at a 6th seed, versus Muppet Vision 3D, which is a number 11. One is going to be taking over the other. One is nostalgic. Everybody loves it. I have a feeling, Greg, your vote's with Muppet Vision. But if there's no line, I think I'm sitting in the Rock and Roller Coaster and taking a spin.
If Aerosmith had nothing to do with the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, I would absolutely ride it all the time. But because it's Aerosmith, I'd rather go Muppets Vision 3D. I'll take Kermit the Frog and Muppets Mayhem any day of the week.
I'm going Rock and Roller Coaster. And Mayor, I completely agree. It is ironic that it ends up this way. And there's another one that's the same vote. I'm voting Rock and Roller Coaster. You guys go and vote to cancel me out, please.
I plan to. I am starting a grassroots about Muppets Vision. Muppets Vision, we're winning it all this year.
Muppet Vision can win this. You know what? It's possible. Soren versus Dumbo. This is a 3 versus 14. I'm going with Soren here.
Really?
Any comments on Dumbo? Yeah, I'm going Soren. Absolutely.
Wow. It's boring compared to Dumbo. Dumbo, you get to see this beautiful skyline in Magic Kingdom. You're soaring with the elephant. Even little Timothy Mouse is there cheering you on.
I love it. But I'm going Soren. This one's interesting. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin versus Star Tours The Adventure Continues. Star Tours and Buzz. You know, this is a great example of the attractions equivalent at Disneyland is so much better than our Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
That ride is amazing versus our Buzz, which is why I'm going Star Tours.
The queue is amazing. The ride is amazing.
Agree.
Star Tours is just Star Tours.
But I'm going with it.
Yeah.
This is on to a number 2 seed, Big Thunder versus the Magic Carpets of Aladdin.
Yeah. I mean, look, Big Thunder's classic for a reason, and it belongs at the top.
It's a number 2 seed for a reason, right?
Yeah.
That's it for the second group. The third group, and by the way, this is going to get easier next week because we're going to have 32 to get through, not 60, or 32 matchup.
Yeah, we can spend more time.
Matchups, not 32. We'll spend more time next week. Yeah. So Rise of Resistance versus Mission Space.
Yeah, of course. Rise.
Do you have anything to say about Mission Space?
It gets me sick.
Good enough. Me too. Peter Pan, Spaceship Earth. This is interesting. Peter Pan, Spaceship Earth. It's another 8 versus a 9, which are the closest, and these are. This one's hard for me. Peter Pan is so fast, and it's over so quick. Spaceship Earth, I love it, except the downhill end of it needs redone, and we never got the redo we were supposed to get.
Yet.
Okay.
Look, Peter Pan is so quick, you really don't get time to enjoy it.
It's true.
I mean, it's Spaceship Earth. You get to sit down in some air conditioning for about 20 minutes.
Mayor, Spaceship Earth all day long in the Spaceship Earth versus Peter Pan flight. I'll vote Spaceship Earth. Up next is Slink Dog versus Indiana Jones.
Yeah, see, this isn't fair to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the only thing these two have in common is they're both at Hollywood Studios.
Yep, that's the only thing.
We'll go Slinky Dog Dash, Toy Story Mania, and Turtle Talk with Crush.
See, now here's the problem. Turtle Talk with Crush can be one of the funniest shows at Disney World, depending on who you get, but it's not consistent at all. Toy Story Mania, you like nothing for nothing. My hand hurts so bad from enjoying that ride every time I do it.
I love it.
Yep.
But I love it.
So Toy Story Mania.
Toy Story Mania. Up next, the Festival of the Lion King versus Dinosaur, both at Animal Kingdom. They have that in common.
Do we have to vote?
What do you think here?
I'll let you have this one, man.
I'm going to go Dinosaur, but I could go either way. Maybe it's nostalgia talking. This is interesting because it's kind of the same ride, but different things you're looking at.
Tumbling my knees off.
Yeah. All right. Next one is Tomorrowland Transit Authority versus the Seas with Nemo and Friends. This is a 14 versus 7. No, I'm sorry, a 3 versus 14.
It could be the ride I've ridden the most at Walt Disney World,
which is the People Mover.
Yes.
And by the way, I want to say that again. This is a 3 seed versus a 14. The People Mover is a number 3 seeded attraction in this.
Thank gosh.
That is pretty good. And by the way, I think it's the same ride. You're just looking at fish. You're looking at people.
Yes. Okay.
Tomorrowland Transit Authority all day long. That's our vote. Up next, Space Mountain, a number 7 versus Happily Ever After, which, by the way, we just said
Frozen Ever After. If you said Happily Ever After, nothing's beating it.
Well, there's no fireworks in here for a reason.
Maybe we should have added them instead of
no, we can't. That's a different thing. That's a different thing. In fact, I debated on shows, but there's a reason.
Wait. If we did Indiana Jones Stuntacular, where's Happily Ever After?
No, that's a fireworks show. And you had it. It's hard to draw that line because do you include Muppet Vision? If you want to include Muppet Vision, you got to include Bug's Life. You got to include the other 3D shows. You got to include. No, I understand exactly what you're saying. So we can debate that all day long. Space Mountain or Frozen Ever After? What are you going with?
Frozen Ever After.
Me too, because my butt hurts after I get off of space.
It's not the only thing that hurts as a man.
Agree. This is interesting. And in fact, I got some heartburn from my family for putting the Haunted Mansion against Journey into Imagination with Figment, because I have some really big Figment fans in my family. But
look, even Holly called you out. Look at that. Even Holly called you out.
I do have Impressions de France because I have Muppet Vision, because I have look, this is awesome. I love the debate, and we'll do this later.
Oh, Meredith, you refuse to do this one. No.
Haunted Mansion or Journey in Imagination. It's tough. It's how it worked out.
Journey is hurting. Haunted Mansion
was a number 2.
Yeah. Haunted Mansion has done a lot of upgrades, and it is running really good. The queue is a lot better and more interactive. You got to go Haunted Mansion.
And
this is taking nothing away from Figment, man.
It's not, but here's the reality. Figment was a 15 seed. Haunted Mansion is the vote. This takes us to the last group, the last round. So the number 1 seeded Expedition Everest goes up against the 16 seeded Prince Charming's Regal Carousel.
100% Prince Charming Regal Carousel.
You can vote that. I am voting Expedition Everest.
You're so wrong.
Greg wants the 16 over the 1 Cinderella seed for Prince Charming.
I do. Prince Charming is amazing.
I see a lot of Carousel there. You know, if Carousel knocked out Expedition Everest, I wouldn't be hurt. Yeah. Here's another 8 versus a 9, the close ones. Winnie the Pooh.
Look,
Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
I'm going to take this one, and it's going to be Winnie the Pooh. It's just too classic. It's too good.
No problem at all. Test Track, Kilimanjaro Safaris. This is a 5 versus 12.
Cali River Rapids, not Kilimanjaro.
I'm sorry. Yes. Cali River Rapids, my fault. Test Track versus Cali River Rapids. I don't want to get wet.
We don't know what the new Test Track is, so this is old information on Test Track.
Well, remember, this is based on seedings for the last 24 months. Test Track came in at a 5 seed, which is probably about right. I'm going Test Track because another track's not changing.
Yeah. I'm not getting wet.
All right, here's Canada Far and Wide. Are we watching Canada Far and Wide, which was a 13 seed, or Kilimanjaro Safari?
We're watching the animals.
Yeah, I think the Safari is a no-brainer here.
Way much more stimulating.
Yes. Here's the other one that I thought was a little bit ironic, because these are maybe Magic Kingdom's 2 newest things. Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the Country Bear Musical Jamboree.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Which, by the way, Tiana's was a 6 seed and Country Bears was a 11. Clearly, some of those the rankings are based on Splash. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, that should be much higher. Just saying.
Which one, the Country Bears or Tiana?
Both.
Which one are you voting for?
I'm
right.
I'm a bear guy.
You know, if there's I know you're a bear guy, so we'll go with the Bears for you. But
Tiana's has got bears in it too.
Tiana's it is. We're voting Tiana. You guys got to help us with that one. Up next, this is a 3 versus a 14. It's Remy's Ratatouille Adventure versus the Mad Tea Party. I have not been on the Mad Tea Party in a long time,
Yeah.
but Remy gives me a headache a little bit.
Yeah,
I wish you didn't need glasses on Remy, but I'm going to vote Remy.
Yeah, I don't.
This is the same attraction, I think. It's a Small World versus Nave River Journey. Is it the same attraction?
The same ride, just with a lot less animatronics, more screens. Look, Small World is a classic. Richard Sherman's voice is on there, or his writing. Richard and Robert Sherman.
Robert. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Small World is Disney World.
Anything to say about Nave River Journey, since it likely will not be
love Blue People.
We'll leave it at that. The last vote, the last round. This is the number 2 seed versus 15. It is Tron Light Cycle Run versus Alien Swirling Saucers.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say this. I love Tron. I love Tron. But Tiana should be up there with Tron, not 13.
Okay. Tron is where we're going.
Yeah.
My votes did count. You can see that I have 4 votes remaining. I could do that 4 more times. I'll leave it up to you guys. But listen, go and vote, please. We want you to do that by all means. I think this could be fun here, Greg. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if we have more time to debate it, Sam, next week, no, it depends on what next week brings.
Well, next week we'll have...
I want to see what other people vote on it. Look, we're going to be pushing this out again. We're going to be pushing out on all the social medias. We would appreciate any shares that you guys want to offer us. We look forward to seeing what your opinions are. Hey, I want to see your opinions over the next few weeks, because we're going to be talking about this a whole lot more for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We got lots to go. And speaking of, a recurring theme here, Greg, it is time for a Muppets Magnet.
A reoccurring theme every week for the next 50 some odd weeks still.
We're up to number 27 of 70 Muppet Magnets, and it is Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
Yeah, of course.
I love it.
It was great. The Muppets put up a few extra images of him from over the years, and they put up his Garth Brooks outfit. It was
love that. I wish I had it to share right now, because it was classic. Instagram, the Muppets, absolutely wonderful.
Do you have on Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube? Do you have the old Muppets Lab that used to travel around?
I do. I have Muppets Lab from Epcot.
Yes,
I have Muppets Lab from Epcot. In the old center, I forget what they called it, but right next to Pin Central, underneath the things on top. Yes, right there. I got it.
The old fountain area. Yeah,
the old fountain area.
Loved it. Loved it. So yeah, we're gonna see this Friday. Obviously, a new one comes out. Sam, what do you got going on this week? Anything, my friend?
You're
flying down here.
I am going to be down. I'm going to be down in the area. I have some business in the area, and I'm going to spend some time in the park over the weekend and see what's going on over at Flower Garden. I will see you over the weekend, my friend.
You will. I will be out tomorrow doing some media over at Disney Springs, checking out Earl Sandwich, Chicken Guy, and Planet Hollywood. So we're going to tell you all about that. We'll tell you all about our first day at Epcot's International Flower and Garden Festival 2025 next week. We'll go through more brackets. As always, you can get Sam at samsdisneydiary.com, Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube, Sam's Disney Daily on Instagram. You can give me a Fantasyland News blog, Fantasyland on Instagram, fantasylandnews.com. And of course, you're watching on Fantasyland News on YouTube. And as always, my friend, end of line.
End of line, Congaloosh. See you next week, March the 5th, for the next round of Disney Madness. And Greg, before I hit the let's go, there is a Disney duck.
Bird of the day, my friend. Bird of the day
is duck. See you next week.